morning, Reverend Brothers, Mr. Brennan, parents, carers, invited guests, Saints Old Boy, Mr. Tim Ford, staff and Marist Men of Saints. Welcome to our Academic Assembly, Term 3, 2019, where we celebrate the academic achievements from Semester 1 this year. We are a school with an admirable and enviable record of achievement across sporting, service and cultural pursuits. Today, however, we celebrate one of our central purposes, to grow in our academic abilities. It is this that should take pride of place in your priorities here at St Augustine's. It is this pursuit that keeps teachers actively preparing lessons and marking assessments. It is this that can cause parents sleep deprivation and a few anxious moments as they walk this academic journey with you. Today our guests of honour are 155 awardees sitting before us. We also acknowledge 60 students for their dedication to service at Saints. Gentlemen, your selfless endeavours to assist those less fortunate is truly encouraging and enviable. A very warm welcome to our parents, our carers and our guests of the awardees. The supportive role that you play in your son's academic achievements is of vital importance, and we hope that today you share in their sense of satisfaction and achievement. As we begin our assembly today, I invite us all to stand and welcome our official party.
Indigenous and non-Indigenous people gathering together. Let us have a sense of the importance of the country upon which the celebration is being held, the learning and ceremony that take place over many years. Let us acknowledge the land beneath our feet and to whom it belongs, the Jamoy, Walabara, Yidinji and Yuriganji people. Let us pause and pay our respect to their elders and all elders, past, present and emerging, for we too are one in land, one in mind, one in spirit, united in God's love. Welcome to our first academic assembly of Semester 2, 2019, a celebration where we acknowledge the successes of those who have turned in outstanding results last semester. As a senior student, I'm fully aware that luck is rarely involved in the pursuit and goal of academic achievement. Scholastic opportunity, although a heavy contributor to success, cannot substitute self-determination, astuteness and hard work. During the second week of the holidays, the country celebrated NAIDOC Week. This important week recognises the importance of Indigenous culture and history to Australian society. Let us pause for a moment to consider the theme, voice, treaty, truth. Let's work together for a shared future. A reading from the Gospel recorded
given the academic award. So I would like to call Mr. Brennan in order to present the certificates to our Year 7s. Please, audience, if you would hold your applause until the entire cohort has been called, that would be greatly appreciated. So for Semester 1, 2019, the academic award winners for Year 7 are Jack Brunetto, Jaden Cox, Thomas Dummel, Benjamin Field, Harrison Folland, Jack Folland, Kane Hughes, Kyle Heidenreich, Ryan Jones, Parker Lane, Justin Langham, Harrison Maughan, Max McKinley, Ian Madrano, William Monroe, Caitlin Meisler, Matthew Pitts, Max Poglio, Harry Reardon, Bryn Swain, Jake Swindell, Samuel Thompson, Sahan Washamama, Miles Whip, and Ryan Wood. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the Year 7 Academic Award recipients. Thank you, gentlemen. Return to your seats. And now the academic award winners for Year 8. Andre Alloy, Tom Barber, Jared Caltabiano, Ryan Cartwright, Tom Chappell, Matthew Christensen, Ashley Jandrea, Caleb Eaton, Matthew Filipponi, Matthew Gutera, Tristan Geddes, Jack Hatfield, Thomas Hislop, Eden Keir, Reeve Kleinschmidt, Lucas Lane, Christian Laska, Daniel Leibinger, Harrison Massingham, Chaz Noble, Darcy Otis, Riley O'Sullivan, Taj Townsend, Connor Thompson, Riley Thompson, Gabriel Weeks, Sean Weisgerber, Alexander Welch, and Brody Zemetich. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the academic award winners from Year 8, Semester 1, 2019. Thank you.
like to invite Mr. Helms to present the Year 9 and 10 academic awards.
For this semester, Year 9s are actually to be congratulated for having the most number of students receive academic awards. Since I've been at this school, I think it's the first time the Year 9s have ever achieved that, so well done to this cohort. Again, I ask Mr. Brennan to present the certificates to the recipients of Year 9 and Year 10. Again, please hold your applause until the whole cohort has been called. In Year 9, Jack Burdett. Saxon Kapelos. Isaac DePong. Mark Clark. Noah Conley. Zachary Cox. Aaron Dempsey. Connor Downey. William Darrington. Zachary Downey. Robert Field. Sterling Harris. Bailey Horn. Joshua Lane. Austin Lewis. James Masaso. Declan McAllister. Benjamin Moore. Jesse Nielsen. William Nichols. Kieran O'Sullivan. Rafael Pena. Massimo Parmigiano. Kurt Plant. Nate Freeman. Neil Shuai. Toya Titisi. And Martin Reese. Ladies and gentlemen, the Year 9 academic award winners, please congratulate them. Year 10 in Semester 1, 2019, the academic award winners go to Luke Bennett, Ben Churchwell, Jay Collins, James Cross, Stephen Liu, Croissant Rowe, Yago Group, Matthew Hangoden, Jed Harrison, James Holland, Richard Phelan, Flynn Keir, Saifaloy Kilibarado, Flynn Lane, Ethan Latimer, Thomas Lawrence, Bailey Moorhead, Courtney Newman, Harrison Oates, Chewbacca Pollard, Joel Tenney, Evan Brissett, Noah Watson,
now my pleasure to invite a St. Augustine's old boy, Tim Ford, to deliver a presentation regarding his life after leaving St. Augustine's. Tim graduated from Saints in 2015 and is currently in his fourth year studying medicine at James Cook University, Cairns. As well as this, Tim has also been involved with tutoring in the college boarding house for some time. Please make him feel welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Brennan, staff, parents, friends, and men of saints for this honour. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge that I'm a privileged medical student and will be, in a few thousand years, an even more fortunate doctor. But I'll get back to that later. A few days ago, I received a phone call from Mr. Brimstone asking if I could do a speech to the assembly Thursday morning. You know, Tim, just stand up there, talk about success, it'll be fun. To be honest, I was a bit nervous when saying yes. However, I knew it was something important to do, to share my most valuable lessons learned here at Saints, of perseverance and giving back. Back in 2014, I'd been boarding at St. Augustine's College for a year, having moved at the start of grade 10. My nerves in those days were mostly from my then English teacher, Mr. Wright. At such time, I'd recently handed in a draft for an oral assignment. I remember before receiving it, waiting eagerly for his response. I knew that I'd put a somewhat decent effort into it and was keen to hear his feedback on what he thought. However, upon receiving the draft, the page was filled with more red and lines through it, and more words than I'd remember actually writing in the assignment about how bad it was. He had taken more time to write on how poor it was than I'd actually written to write the assignment itself. Anyhow, after many hours of trying to amend this paper that probably looked better on the tree it came from, I was able to get a mark that didn't result in Mr. Wright yelling at me, which, as you boys know, is always a positive. Persistence, I came to realise, not English on a Thursday morning in Year 11, was my first lesson at Saints. This concept of resilience is something that I've been able to use in many facets of my life. I've had so many failures and letdowns that I can't begin to count. From not making a final when I expected to medal in my favourite sport of athletics, or getting bowled for 16 in a cricket team, but as you know, Mr. Doherty, that was definitely the other guy's fault because I made one run that day. Not getting the marks I wanted in something, and even dealing with the deaths of some very close people. I wasn't born with an IQ over 200. My IQ, my coordination and athletic ability were average at best. But I'd like to think that I didn't give up when the going got tough. Through a lot of time and effort, I was able to achieve a school mark that I'm proud of. I was able to get into the degree that I wanted. I was able to compete in athletics at a national and international level. You see, gentlemen, perseverance is something that doesn't require money. It doesn't require you to have a freakish ability or be the best at what you want. It is something that anyone, in any form, from anywhere, can use to achieve more in whatever it is they do. But mostly, and most importantly, it is something that no one can take away from you. I guess the only downside is a little sweat. But being from Cairns in the summertime, we're used to that, man. This was a very important lesson in my life. As much as persistence and success are made from the same mould, there is something important that is made from both of them, and that is giving back. All you boys here today will eventually turn successful men one way or another. At this college, you are lucky to have some amazing teachers who genuinely care for you and some incredible opportunities. You have teachers like Lionel who do early morning gym sessions, additional trainings, and even someone to talk to just out of the goodness of their heart. You have the staff at the office who have never been short of delightful, teachers staying behind to provide extra help with maths and further tutoring, and also, as Mr. Wright will do, more than necessary help with drafts. You see, gentlemen, the list goes on, and I'll get kicked off stage if I take the time to thank all the people when I was here. However, gentlemen, there is a way we can acknowledge their help, and that's by giving back. Get involved in Saints Mates. Get involved in a service activity. Say thanks to your teachers and parents. Come back to the school and tell the teachers the places you've been and the success you've enjoyed and the fruits of their labour. I suppose what I'm trying to say is, never forget the places you started and the people who got you where after your success. I actually remember having a boy who's probably here today that I've been helping at Saints Mates with maths. He came up to me a few years after I graduated with his parents, who told me the success and how much more his grades have improved since I was able to help him. And whilst it may seem something small to me, that was a very significant moment in my life. So give back, gentlemen. To end your misery and hunger, I do consider myself a fortunate medical student. I'm lucky because of the lessons of persistence and appreciation that I was taught on the very seats you boys are sitting here today, which for me have now become life skills. I don't think, no, I know that I would not be where I am today if I had not learned these lessons. So yes, I do consider myself fortunate to have this before I tried to start a career. It is something that I want you gentlemen to have today. Ironically, the most important thing I learned from your classes wasn't English. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. It was persistence. Persevere and you will succeed, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim, for those very inspiring and memorable words and for sharing your personal experiences from your time at Saints. We wish you all the very best in your future endeavours, and on behalf of the college, I would like to ask Mr. Brennan to present his gift as a token of our appreciation. Ladies and gentlemen, I now invite you to sit back and relax and enjoy a video of our athletics carnival produced by Lachlan Womersley of the Senior Film and Television Box.
Think I can fly. Think I can fly when I'm with you. My arms are wide, catching fire as the wind blows. I'm a better rich enough for pride. I see $1 billion in your eyes, even if we're strangers till we die. I wanna run away. I wanna run away. Anywhere out this place. I wanna run away. 'Cause you and I wanna run, chase the morning sun when I'm with you. Give it all away, catching fire as the wind blows. I'm a better rich enough for pride. I see $1 billion in your eyes, even if we're strangers till we die. I wanna run away. I wanna run away. Anywhere out this place.
Thank you, Lachlan, for another outstanding production. Now, to conclude today's academic awards, I invite Mr. Helm to present the academic awards for years 11 and 12, as well as one special award.
Ladies and gentlemen, you would probably be aware if you've had a student go from year 10 to year 11, it gets a lot more challenging in year 11 or 12 to maintain those grades. But we've had a group of young men in year 11 who have succeeded very well, especially going into new subjects and a new system. So they are especially commended for not knowing what they were getting into this time, much like the future. So we do have empathy for them. So please hold your applause until the end of the whole program has been announced. In Year 11, Semester 1, 2019, academic award winners are Hasim Ali, Noah Browning, Brody Davis, Ethan Donnelly, Michael Guerrero, Joseph Hunter, Riley Hayden, Jack Jenkins, Lachlan Jensen, Connor Kelly, Jack Miller, Samuel Nichols, Ruben Porta, Nicholas Reed, Scott St. Armand, George Typhalos, Alex Tanasi, and Waya Vincent. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate these academic award winners. We also have a good number of academic award winners in Year 12. Ethan Andrzejczyk, Luke Azapati, Sean Ballard, James Blee, Joshua Brumman, Gabriel Brown, Jack Chester, Jake Dempsey, Jack Gooden, Felix Graf, James Harris, Jack Hislop, William Johnson, Daniel Kelly, Lucas Kresvik, Reese Land, Harrison LeBurs, Jordan Lindsay, Jason Liu, Bryn McCarthy, Archer Schultz, Cody Stopford, Harrison Will, and Brock Wallen. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate these Year 12 academic award winners. There are two more special awards that I am going to be announcing. This term, Miss Oldfield's Year 8 Maths Extension class participated in a brand new national maths competition, very similar to the Australian maths competition or an ICAS competition. And students had to answer a series of maths questions with increasing levels of difficulty. Students did well in both competitions, with numerous credit awards being received by our students. However, it was in the CAT test that we truly excelled. Futa Ma received a distinction award for being in the top 5% of the country. So Mr. Brennan, if you will please present Futa with his certificate. Kano Thompson also received a high distinction for being in the top 1% of the country. Kano also has the very prestigious honor of scoring our very first ever perfect score in a national maths competition, as far as we know of. So congratulations to Kano and all the students who participated. Thank you, Kano.
Thank you, Mr. Helms, and congratulations to all of our award recipients today. I would now like to invite our service captain, Ethan Andrejik, to present the service awards for semester 1.
Good morning, Mr. Brennan, teachers, students, and all invited guests. This term, we have many service opportunities. Relay for Life is coming up this weekend, and the teams have done a fantastic job of fundraising. Year 12 continue to support Rosies. Everyone is able to support Park Run on the 17th of August and the 7th of September. And Daffodil Day is coming up in week 6. If you want to assist with Daffodil Day, let either myself or Miss Cooby know so you can go on the roster for selling merchandise. In the first semester, many boys spent hours of their time voluntarily doing something good for the benefit of our community and those communities around us. We would like to acknowledge them today. Mr. Brennan could hand out those awards. With bronze awards for 10 hours of service in school or the local community, Matthew Christensen, Harrison Massingham, Hayden Cute, Ben Bancroft, Shant Goel, Richard Hewlin, Flynn Lane, Thomas Lawrence, Alexis Armstrong Smith, Patrick Brown, Aidan Conlon, Arthur Economos, Brody Davies, Luke Urbacher, Max Gadd, Riley Gaddett, Balin Glass, Harrison Hux, Joseph Hunter, Riley Hayden, Jack Jenkins, Lachlan Jensen, Daniel Duran, Nicholas Johnson, Leroy Kelly, Nathan Lauder, Lachlan Machel, Joseph McDonough, Jack Miller, Alan Mizamechi, Samuel Nichols, Jared Petit, Matthew Prizard, Harrison Price, Nicholas Reed, Liam Sands, George Tafalos, Bryce Tinney, Wire Vincent, Brendan Ward, Gabriel Brown, Jack Chester, Bryn McCarthy, Simeon Natouche, Harrison Will, and Wesley Yao. Will you please congratulate our bronze award winners. Silver awards for 15 hours with service both in school and self-directed. Thomas Gall. Dan Formiati. Darcy Oates. Tom Kazubo. Harrison Oates. Riley Chapman. William Johnson. And Harrison Albert. Can we please congratulate our Silver Award winners? Finally, with a gold award for 25 hours of service, at least 12 in school and 12 self-directed. Corey Long.
Thank you, Ethan, and congratulations to all of our Service Award winners for Semester 1. I would now like to invite our Public Speaking Captain, James Lee, accompanied by Miss Nguyen Hales, to introduce the Public Speaking Awards.
Good morning, Mr. Brennan, special guests, and men of saints. This year has been a huge year for public speaking, and we've excelled in a plethora of arenas, from the intellectual battlefield of debating to the passionate stage of public speaking. For the first time ever, St. Augustine's College participated in the finals of the Bond University Mooting Competition in Bond University on the Gold Coast on Saturday, the 1st of June, 2019. A moot is a simulated court proceeding where students are tasked with deconstructing and reapplying real-life court procedure in a mock court. Ruben Porta, Jack Miller, and Alexis Armstrong Smith were all prepared and eager to present their case to the judges, who are lecturers from Bond University. The team acted for Cool Pool Pty Ltd, the respondent in a complicated civil case before the High Court of Australia. It is noted that both Jack and Ruben obtained honorable mentions for advocacy within the preliminary round. For the finals, St. Augustine's College came up against Sydney's Fort Street High School, who put forward a strong case for the appellant, Cameron, Texas. Ruben, Jack, and Alexis were posed with difficult questions from the bench regarding the complex facts, legislation, and cases. The boys handled the questions effectively and developed a strong argument for their clients. Although they did not proceed to the grand final that day, it is an exceptional effort on behalf of Ruben, Jack, and Alexis to make it to the top 10 in Australia. The boys have a newfound appreciation for the law and have greatly enhanced their advocacy skills. I would now like to ask Mr. Brennan to award the following certificates. Ruben Porta, Senior Counsel. Jack Miller, Junior Counsel. Alexis Armstrong Smith, Instructing Solicitor. I would also like to present Mr. Brennan with a plaque from the event. Now please join me in congratulating the guys. This year, we also hosted the annual Rostrum Voice of Youth public speaking competition here at Saints, with 70 speakers from around the region competing. And a special congratulations to our resident genius Jack Miller and our orator extraordinaire Nick Reed for making it to the finals, with Nick placing as runner-up in the finals. A special thank you also goes out to all the men of Saints who participated as speakers and those who volunteered the hours of service to be timekeepers and chairperson for each room. Lions Youth of the Year was also held earlier this year with our college captain Gabe and myself competing, in which we were asked to partake in an interview as well as present a prepared speech and a short impromptu. This ended with myself being awarded the Best Speaker Award of the night. On top of this, I was able to compete in the plain English speaking competition, in which we were also asked to present an 8-minute prepared speech, do a 3-minute impromptu, and in addition to that, a public interview. This sent me to Brisbane upon winning the regional competition to duke it out in the state finals with some city slicker public speaking heavyweights. Unfortunately,
Unfortunately, I did not make it to the national stage, but I came home with an enriched public speaking experience and a drive to improve. In addition to this, we also had a widely successful debating season with both our junior and senior teams making it to the finals. We initially entered 2 junior teams and 2 senior teams in a knockout competition. One junior team, unfortunately, were knocked out just before the semifinals. And like the years before ours, the 2 senior teams were forced to face off against each other in the semis to knock out the one Saints team before progressing to the finals. I would now like to ask Ms. Nguyen to speak about the debating finals and present badges for the 2019 debating team.
Good morning and thank you, James. I will continue the recap from here as this is where our 2 senior St. Augustine's teams faced off in the semi-finals. They argued the topic that a university degree is the best way to build a career. And both teams did an extraordinary job in their arguments and rebuttal. It was such an enjoyable debate to watch unfold, and for the first time in a very long time, I couldn't pick a winner. But one side had to win, and the adjudicators declared Max, James, and Gabe victorious. Our junior team, Riley, Ashley, and Harrison, were also victorious in the semi-finals. This was a knockout competition, as James said, and both of our teams in the finals had not actually lost a debate all season. And the finals were no different. Our juniors faced off against St. Monica's on the topic that imagination is more important than knowledge. And we disagreed, arguing that they were of equal importance. Our juniors retained the shield won by George, Nick, and Jack last year. Our seniors faced off against Freshwater Christian College on the topic that voting should not be compulsory. This was a much closer fight, but I was quietly confident, and sure enough, Saints were declared the winners of the Senior Shield. It is always a pleasure watching these boys prepare and debate and see their skills grow over the years. And I would like to say a special thank you and congratulations to James and Gabe, who I've had the pleasure of coaching since they were juniors, and I was so pleased they were able to win a shield in their final year. I would ask Mr. Brennan to present the debating students with their badges and medals for 2019. Please hold your applause. Robert Field. Gabriel Weeks. Daniel Leibinger. Darcy Oakes. Ashley DeAndre. Riley O'Sullivan. Harrison Oakes. George Tapalos. Nicholas Reed. Jack Miller. Max Gadd. James Blee. And Gabriel Brown. Please congratulate the 2019 debating team.
Thank you, James, Miss Nguyen, and congratulations to all of our public speakers for their efforts throughout the year. Ladies and gentlemen, now to deliver his principal's address, please welcome our college principal, Mr. Brennan.
Well, good morning, Reverend brothers, parents and family who've been able to join us this morning, the staff and young men of Saints. I'll start with a few thank yous. First of all to Mr. Burston and our college choir, helped by obviously Miss Spannenberg. We also had a pianist accompanying them. Again, to stand up in front of, we've got over 1,000 people in here this morning, and to be able to sing and sing such quality. And a song, I think, obviously, which encompasses the Anzac spirit, but for my experience here, certainly the spirit here of St. Augustine's with a band of brothers, to stand up and do that. Congratulations. To Mr. Helms and all of the ladies in the office that were responsible for the presentation, the organisation of certificates. As was mentioned, 155 students received academic awards, but there was numerous other awards as well. And to do the logistics behind that and the organisation, it was actually outstanding. And I know Mr. Rigby's also been involved in the practice this morning. It ran like absolute clockwork, which I guess as a person of St Augustine's you wouldn't expect anything else. But having been to numerous schools in my teaching career, to have something move so seamlessly and so professionally is a credit to everybody involved. So congratulations to them. When we talk about and probably the person I really wanted to speak at, and I was going to speak to him now, was Tim Ford. He stole a bit of my thunder as far as the message that he gave, that it is all about attitude, it's about perseverance, and certainly giving back. And I think it was really appropriate today that we did recognise the boys who got their service awards for giving back to the community. But I must say, one of the real privileges for me to be sitting up the front here on stage has been the times that we've been able to organise a recent Old Boy back to the school, and just to hear their messages. The message is often a very consistent one, that we are very, very fortunate to be part of this community. And I think one of the takeaways as a student I would hope that you take would be that you'll always be a man of saints, that it does prepare you for life after school, and certainly the opportunities are boundless. If we think back to this year, we've had somebody talk about his trips to the Antarctica, a border from up north. We also had a student who's about to do a Rhodes Scholarship in the UK. And then it tops off with Tim and his journey through school and the work that staff and others have put into him, and his debt of gratitude, and also the sense of service that he experienced here and that he's now giving back to the community. Speaking to Tim earlier, he's about to embark on an extended visit to Tully, where he'll be working in Tully Hospital, and no doubt he'll receive many challenges, but I also hope that experience is incredibly rewarding for him. Gentlemen, it made me think of something that I read recently about a very famous NBA basketballer. DeMarcus Cousins is somebody that anybody who follows NBA would be well aware of. He's a 5-time NBA championship team, or he's been named in the NBA All-Stars 5 times, and he was a very low draft pick when he was at college. He was playing for the New Orleans Pelicans, and he was on about $25 to $30 million a year. And he was at the top of his game, and he was obviously getting all of the statistics that you want as a high-level basketballer. But one thing that wasn't particularly well known to the public was that he was an absolute serial pest. He was selfish. He had a terrible attitude. He often had conflicts with people in his team. He refused to listen to the instructions of coaches. But purely based on his talent, those sorts of things were accepted of him. And when you take a precocious talent, at times that the accepted behaviour was, or the behaviour was accepted. Interestingly though, he received an injury towards the end of the 2017-18 season, and his contract was finished with the New Orleans team, and he was on the open market. And you would think somebody who had been in 5 NBA All-Star teams, named in all sorts of things, had all sorts of records, would be hot property at $25 million. At the conclusion of the open market period, not one NBA team wanted to touch him. Clearly he had talent, but clearly he wasn't somebody who had the right attitude, somebody who particularly didn't train hard, somebody who wasn't prepared to be part of a team, to be part of an organisation, to put others before himself, and to put in that extra work. It was only that he had a couple of friends who played for the Golden State Warriors that they convinced the coaching staff to offer him a contract. And his contract, after his surly attitude and his poor behaviour on and off the court, went from $25 million, and he was offered a $5 million lifeline. Now $5 million to any of us for 12 months would be an absolute steal. But to take an 80% pay cut based purely on your attitude, and only because of friends who were prepared to put their names to you, says a lot. He completed his season, this season just finished, with the obviously the team that he was with, the Golden State Warriors. And again, they weren't particularly interested in continuing his involvement. He had a couple of injuries, but he's still at an age where he would offer a great deal. And unfortunately for him, he's gone through the same experience. I read this morning that he's just been picked up last couple of weeks by the LA Lakers. this time for $3.3 million. So why I share that story with you is attitude is critically important to success. Treating others is critically important in success. And it was wonderful to see how many boys here this morning, 155 as Mr. Rigby noted at the beginning of the assembly, are recognised for achieving academic success. The other thing that struck me this morning was the number of boys that not only received academic success, but also received service awards. So again, if we go back to the message of Tim Ford this morning, there are a lot of boys in this community that are doing that are working hard, that are persevering, and that are giving back. It'd be for those that were able to join Simeon this morning at student-led prayer. He was talking all about perspective and looking at through the lens of another person and just seeing the difference that makes. And I guess my challenge, first of all, as I said, is to the boys that came across the stage this morning. For many of you, one of my first assemblies was the academic assembly of term 1, for recognising the success of semester 2 last year. And there were a number of familiar faces coming across the stage this morning. That said, there was also a number of students who I think got their first ever Academic Excellence Award. And I think if I spoke to those boys, there would be a real sense of pride, a real sense of joy, of excitement to receive an award at a school as prestigious as St. Augustine's. I'd also want to add though, there was also an email I sent out to over 120, almost 140 families last week, recognising their students or their sons for the work that they're doing quietly that's being recognised by teachers. So I guess in closing, the message that I really want to give to all of us, and I put staff and I certainly put myself in this position as well. If you come to St. Augustine's with the right attitude, if you're prepared to persevere, if you're prepared to give back and be involved in service, if you are prepared to persevere, but also to put yourself in the place of others less fortunate, if you're prepared to take the opportunities given to you, you've only got to walk around this school from 8 o'clock in the morning to see staff with open doors and boys in there doing tutorials. One of the most amazing things I've seen in any school is going into the Gilda Centre, run by Mr. Wright after school, and seeing anywhere between 60 to 100 students in there. Every afternoon it's open on their own accord, trying to improve themselves. So there is absolutely no excuses, I think, for any student or any person involved in our community not to be the best version of themselves. And the best version isn't a selfish version. It's a version where you've got good attitude, you persevere, you put in your effort, and you give back. So my challenge, I guess, for you this semester is to listen to the words of Tim Ford. Listen to the words of Simeon at student-led prayer. Listen to the words of your teachers. Listen to the words of the senior students. Have a look at what they're doing. And between that, I would love to think that when we have our Semester 2 academic awards at the beginning of 2020, that whilst it was wonderful to see 155 boys up here, there's no reason why we can't double that. I have a great semester, and thank you once again to the parents who have been able to join us this morning.
Thank you once again, Mr. Brennan. Ladies and gentlemen, that draws to a close our academics assembly for semester 1. I would like to thank you all for joining us today, and I would like to invite all parents, guests, and award winners to join us for morning tea just outside under the Lavala building. As well as this, I would like to congratulate all of our students for a great start to the year already. Whether or not you received an award or not, your efforts will not go unrecognized. With that, I would like you all to please stand for our concluding hymn,